2, 3, go.
Alright, so 32 hours and 30 minutes. Does anybody have a guess of what I'm referring to?
Labor.
That one song.
Yeah, that's how long my mom was in labor with me until she had to have an emergency C-section, or unless, me and my mom, it risked our lives. And, the purpose of this speech is to inform you about my life, and I hope that you learn a little bit more about me and that we learn more about each other. I grew up in Newburgh, Oregon, and that's actually my house that I lived in, and I would always stand in front of that little, huge window, and it's actually, this window right here. I would stand in front of it when I was little, and I had a couple family members that lived with us, and I met my best friend Margaret when I lived there. We went to daycare together, and she actually got me to branch out and try new things, including softball. And I'm not really a sports person, but she actually continued on with softball. She still plays it. And I actually got into dance when I was little. I did tap and ballet with my friend Maddie. And I started playing piano when I was 5, and I still continued on throughout my life playing it. And then when I was 7, I had to move to Las Vegas because my parents really liked Las Vegas, so they decided to move there. And this is a picture of my house there, and that's the only time that it snowed there. And a lot of our family and friends visited us because they love to see the sights and everything. And I met my best friend Brooke Bell, and I don't really have any old pictures of us that I could find, but this is one from last Halloween. We're still friends. I think that's pretty cool how we still stayed friends, even though she moved here actually a couple years ago. And I just love to go swimming and stuff when I lived there and stuff like that. And then I moved back to Oregon when I was in 5th grade because of my dad's job. He decided to continue being a lawyer there instead of Las Vegas. And I stayed friends with my friend Margaret, and she introduced me to new friends. And I went to Chehalis Valley Middle School, where my friends convinced me to join band, which changed my life because I originally didn't want to join band at all, but they were like, oh, let's do it. So I was like, okay. And I started playing flute, which I still play flute. I'm really involved in it. And ever since then, I joined the Metropolitan Youth Symphony, which is that's a picture of it. I was in the orchestra. I was first flute in the orchestra. I was invited to play in the All-State Band in Oregon. I still took dance lessons when I was there, so I continued on with dance. And then also, when I lived there in about 7th grade, 4 days before Christmas, my mom, she got into this car accident that affected our lives dramatically because she was driving to work one day, and the car that was coming towards her went into her lane, slid into her lane because of ice, and the person that slid into her lane actually died, and my mom broke her back and shattered her tailbone. So we're still living through that, but it was a time for me to be courageous and be strong through it. And then I moved to Arizona before my freshman year because of my dad's job. He got offered a better job here. And I started high school at Cactus Shadows. And none of my family lives here. I basically knew nobody that lived here, so I had to start all over pretty much. But I met a lot of new friends, and I began taking flute lessons. I was in band for 3 years. I tried out for the regional band, and I was in that for 3 years. And I decided not to do band this year, but I am in orchestra, and I'm first chair in it. And my first job was at Learning Express Toy Store, and that's actually a picture of me and my coworker when we were working, and it was a lot of fun to work there. I got to sell a lot of toys, and it actually just closed down a few weeks ago because they went out of business, so I had to look for another job, and I was lucky enough to get a job at Islands Restaurant as a hostess, so now I'm still working there. And my best friend here is Brittany Decker. She's one of my closest friends here, and I also just made a new best friend, Lena. She moved here from France. She's here for this school year, and we're really close together. And for the future, I want to go to University of Arizona and major in music and finance. that's basically my plan for the future. And I just wanted to end it with this quote. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Basically saying, like, people will always tell you can't do things and that you're not good enough, but you have to have the courage to show them that they're wrong and take risks.